And welcome back, everyone, to Global Speedrun Association. Back again with some Super Mario Odyssey content here. Joining me on commentary perhaps later on is Electric, but for now we have just me doing some introductory here. We got a winners round 3 match coming your way here. Chaospringle versus Orolme. Both of these guys with very solid reputations. We actually have Orolme practicing some 2-player by the looks of it. Orolme, in case you guys are not familiar, is the 2-player world record holder alongside his friend Parasite. So just showing off a little bit of his flair, doing Snowdram with the 2-player method here. Chaospringle, on the other hand, is the 1-player world record holder, not currently, but perhaps did hold the longest concurrent world record for nearly a month and a half before Equan was able to nab it away. So we do have some very solid runners upcoming here in this race. Should be a spicy one. Orolme can't be understated on his 1-player ability as well. He himself has a 103 in the 1-player category, so this is sure to be a spicy race. Now, Chaospringle obviously does have a reputation for being one of the most consistent runners in this game, is able to very consistently get times in the realm of 100, 101. So this could be very interesting to see just how close Chaospringle is able to get to that race world record currently held by Little Curbs, I believe. Little Curbs getting in this tournament a time of 101.18. That is currently the best time that we have seen in this tournament so far, as well as in any GSA, any percent race. A couple of contenders, very top contenders, could potentially bring that home for themselves. So we'll have to see if Chaospringle or even Orolme is able to pull that off. In any case, could be very exciting, very close, down to the wire, right until the end. Now, both of these runners running on 1.0. Again, that means that First Moon Skip as well as Sphinx Clip and Turnip Clip on the table for this race. We will see both of those runners going for those tricks, saving time, doing things optimally. This race, as well as all tournament races that you are witnessing on twitch.tv/speedrun, brought to you by vi.gg, where you can place bets on your favorite run. Visit their website by clicking beneath the stream or by typing !bet to learn more about vi.gg. Of course, you must be of legal gambling age to participate in gambling. We don't want any situations where you're not taking care of yourself. Don't be breaking the law, kids. Now, Cap Kingdom rolling right along here. Pulling the lever. Chaospringle does look like he has a little bit of a lead coming into this bridge. Getting the optimal spin pound out of the lever pull, that requires a buffered spin out of the dive, which is very, very tough to do. Very tough timing to also get the first-person strategy out of that as well. So Chaospringle flexing his cap skills. Going to be taking a little bit of lead going into this frog room, jumping up the platforms here and entering the cap door. And of course, both of these guys initiating left side. Orolme having a little bit of difficulty setting up his left side, going to be going for the backup. Chaospringle showing no hesitation at all as he makes his way up the top hat tower, setting up the final hit, getting that 152 kill. Going to be coming in with a 222 cap time. Very solid performance by Chaospringle. Orolme right behind, looking like a 231 cap finish. Right out of the gate, here we go. You know, this race going to be very tight. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This one is going to be extremely exciting. Could really go either way. Now, Chaospringle, of course, being consistent as he is, but in a race setting, things can be a little bit different. You know, when you're vying for a world record spot, it is rather common for you to reset over some of the smaller mistakes that some other runners might take for granted. Now, that being said, you know, Chaospringle might not get tilted quite as easily. He is a very consistent player and probably has kind of trained himself to be able to keep his cool. So we'll see if that is the truth, if he's able to kind of continue that along. Now, getting the first moon skip there, the water variation, avoiding the invisible barrier, Orolme right behind him, and making the jump up. Movement after that is a little bit trickier than you would expect. But these guys making it look easy on their way through. Dino skip, success for Chaospringle. Orolme following it up, both on top of the platform, both doing this Madam Brutal fight. Chaospringle, all of his lead right now currently as a result of the Cap Kingdom and getting that left side over Orolme. So, you know, Orolme is going to have a little bit of his work cut out for him. Chaospringle, one of the most solid early game contenders. Finishing up that fight. A little bit of spaghetti movement, grabbing the power moon there, but nothing too drastic. Following right behind is Orolme, doing the spin pound into a roll cancel jump. Very swaggy strats being shown by Orolme there. And now, because of course they skipped the first moon, they require 2 more to leave Cascade Kingdom. So we're going to see Chaospringle after this little cutscene. He's going to roll boost over to the left on top of a high cliff. He's going to grab this moon here. Solid execution. That was clean. Coming down underneath this waterfall basin. Going to be setting up for a quick chest clip here. Looks good. Got the up warp there. Yep, and he's up and through. Cascades Kingdom, very solid, finished in lightning speed. He's literally flying through the stage. Orolme going to be taking a little bit of a slower setup for this chest clip just to be safe, and actually misses it. Thought he got it, did the dive, and took the bonk. Going to be having to come out of this little alcove. This is going to be losing him quite a lot of time, unfortunately. But he is out. He is globed, and he is on his way to Sand Kingdom now. Chaospringle extending his lead a little bit further over Orolme in this situation. And into Sand Kingdom. Now, Sand, again, not really a kingdom that many runners worry about nowadays. I feel like everybody's kind of got this under wraps. Not much to really write home about anymore. It used to be one of the most technical kingdoms, and now it kind of just blends in with everything else. There are a couple of tricks that can lose you some time if you mess them up. Specifically, Dram Strat, specifically the Sphinx clip. We'll probably see Chaos going for some double clip ideas. I know he has some rather high confidence in his abilities when it comes to Sand Kingdom, so we will be seeing probably some double clip from him. Orolme maybe wanting to catch up, maybe wanting to keep the pace with Chaos, might be going for the same as well. Very tricky strat to pull off, though. If you do not get that second clip in due time, it will mess up your bird cycle later on and cost you some valuable time. So right out of the gate here, Chaospringle hopping into town, grabbing a quick moon on top of the cathedral here, then diving into the pipe, grabbing one more quick moon, and on his way over to the dune. Orolme right behind. Probably about 15 seconds of difference between these guys so far. Now that Chaos has grabbed the Dune Moon, he's going to roll over to these ruins here, grab one quick moon on top of this archway using a very precise backwards backflip here, which he's going to nail beautifully. Spin pound off of the archway, doing the triple jump. This is the setup for Dram. You're going to see him go for the iceless variation, I suppose, the older way of doing this. Much more consistent, not the most optimal, probably losing about 0.5 of a second to the ice dram variation, but definitely the safer choice here. Chaospringle nailing the dram strat on his way to the next moon on the lone pillar. Now, Orolme approaching the dram strat here too. We'll see if he goes for any sort of ice dram ideas. Going to opt for the safe option as well. That platform just about in the way, but he's going to be able to avoid that just fine. Up throw looks good. Capture warp is good. He's on his way to the lone pillar. Very clean Sand Kingdom from both of these runners now. Chaos approaching the Sphinx clip. Going to see him triple up on top of the Sphinx, line himself up in a way, and roll boost directly through. He actually did go into the Sphinx room, so we are going to see a double clip from Chaos here. And, you know, watching Chaos is really a sight to behold. Again, through the wall, very, very quick setups, and just makes it look incredibly easy. 2 for 2 for Chaos there. Now, Orolme approaching the Sphinx clip. And he is apparently going to go for the single clip variation again. Probably the safer option. Not going to be taking any risks with the bird cycle. Chaos did get that second clip in due time, so he will be setting himself up for a perfect bird cycle in the Oasis. Not going to have to worry about wasting any time as long as he plays this area clean. Very safe movement, not very difficult to pull off. So the bird cycle will be good for him. Orolme setting himself up to continue along in the Sand Kingdom here. His bird cycle is going to be good as well because he did opt for the single clip. And now Chaospringle capturing the cactus, one quick moon before making his way over to the Oasis. And the bird perfectly placed. Did mess up the ground pound there a little bit, maybe only losing a couple of seconds there, but still handily taking care of this Sand Kingdom. Just one more moon to collect. That is the Notes moon on the top of these trees. Getting the optimal spin throw out of the first tree there. Diving across. Not quite able to make it with the first spin throw, but handily backing it up with a second. And he is on his way out of Sand Kingdom. And like I mentioned, watching Chaos do any of these kingdoms, really, just the consistency that he is able to pull off with his gameplay and just at such a high level, it is amazing to watch him do what he does. Orolme following right behind, getting the spin throw off of the palm, not able to get the notes in a single throw, but that's okay. Very difficult trick to do. Going to be using a second spin throw, and he is on his way out of Sand Kingdom now as well. Chaospringle leaving Sand Kingdom at like a 10:15, 10:14 in fact. That is a very solid time indeed. Something that you can really expect from Chaospringle, only about like 10 seconds off of what he considers to be optimal. So literally flying through the stage. Orolme not far behind though. Just goes to show that, you know, with Chaospringle being a world record contender, it is really, you know, his race to be optimized. But that being said, any little mistakes might tilt very easily. So we'll have to see how that affects the situation. Now, Chaospringle opting for Lake first. He is one of the top contenders. It would not surprise me if we saw some sort of Lake clip ideas here. He's been practicing it quite a lot in his regular runs of like day-to-day runs. So it would actually surprise me if he didn't go for it right now. Grabbing this moon. We're going to see here if he sets himself up along the corner of the wall. Yes, indeed. Setting up the camera, getting the clip set up immediately, getting the ground pound perfectly right there. Didn't bonk on the ceiling, and he is through the lake clip. That could not have gone any better for Chaospringle here. Perfect lake clip setup on the first try. Very solidly done. When this trick is done correctly, it can save you over 6 seconds versus the Rango route. Chaos is just flying through this race, making everything look extremely easy. Orolme keeping pace as best as he can, not doing a terrible job of it, really. He is going to be opting for the late clipless route, going for Rango. Now, it does look like these runners are neck and neck, essentially. In fact, it might look like Orolme does have a lead, but you do have to remember that Chaospringle is a couple of moons ahead, also doesn't have to engage in a boss fight at all. So you're going to see Chaos grab this pillar moon right behind Orolme, and then instead of going up to the boss fight, he's going to go into town. See the camera turning around already. He's going to go into town and grab a quick power moon hidden in a little secret room. And after that, he can warp directly to the Odyssey, and he is done with Lake Kingdom just like that. Chaos making quick work of this game already, the first couple of kingdoms, and he is already on incredibly good pace. Meanwhile, Orolme finishing up Rango fight, not giving him any trouble there. But going to be trailing Chaos of no fault of his own, really. Chaos just flexing his superior gameplay and consistency so far. Not to discredit Orolme, he is definitely doing well. It's just hard to keep pace with somebody who can pull off late clips so successfully. And now the kingdom upcoming, Wooded Kingdom, probably one of the scariest in the run. I myself have a lot of trouble with this kingdom. Tends to cause quite a bit of issues. For my runs, I very commonly lose 10, 20 seconds in this kingdom. Lots of things can go wrong. Especially for a 1.2 runner like me, there is no real backup for the nut clip if you choose to, but if it happens to go wrong for you. Hopefully we won't see any nut clip failures here. Of course, a very distinct rhythm kind of ingrained in all of the runners' heads to make this a little bit easier. So Orolme making his way into Wooded Kingdom now, going to be doing this rock and bunny strat, missing the bunny, leaving it behind. There is a quick backup for that, so no big issues there. Chaospringle setting up for nut clip. Getting the Weehoo in through the wall. Nut clip is successful. Now he's going to be setting up for this out of bounds movement. Very scary kind of series of jumps. Makes it look so easy, though. So flawless. Jumping out from underneath the out of bounds movement, up the wall. And just flying through the stage. This is textbook stuff. Orolme buying the shot moon. And he is behind Chaos here, coming up to the nut clip himself. Going to be looking for that setup here. Taking a little bit of harassment from the Fire Bro, unfortunately, as he makes his way up here. That does mean he's going to take a damage refill, wasting about 2 seconds. But it does look like he has the clip. He's just going to have to anticipate the damage refill in order to get the out-of-bounds movement okay. And it looks like he does. Making the movement out of bounds. Setting himself up with a camera angle that makes that trick a little bit easier. Chaospringle not opting for that at all. All these little things are going to add up, especially in a race of such a high caliber like this. Chaos literally flying through the stage. Grabbing the Story Moon required to open up the next area. Now the Story Moon is required to fight Spirit. The boss arena actually doesn't spawn Spirit unless you have collected that moon first. That being said, common for top level runners to skip the Spirit fight entirely and grab some other moons that are a little bit faster, eliminate some cutscenes, and make it more about optimization. Now, Orolme, approaching the Story Moon himself, just has to grab this one moon at the dead end. Then he's on his way to the Story Moon. So keeping pace rather well. Chaos just playing perfectly. He is literally TAS. Exiting the tower, sub 17. Absolutely phenomenal. And it does look like he's doing the Spiritless route. I would expect nothing less. Jumping from the tower in the most optimal fashion, getting that roll boost into just a regular single jump. Probably the hardest way to do it, but you can vector a jump rather easily. Orolme having a little bit of trouble with the Flower Road skip here. Going to be opting to just spawn the Flower Road and continue on his way. Meanwhile, Chaos just has this pipeway room left to complete in Wooded Kingdom before he's on his way. It'll be interesting to see if Orolme opts for some spiritless strategies himself. Obviously, the optimal thing to do can save about 5 seconds if done perfectly. Probably looking more at like 3 or 4 seconds for the average runner, just because of potential spaghetti in the movement. Chaospringle making quick work of the pipeway. No input drops there. No need to wait on any cycles. He did get the optimal strategy there. And he's out, just like that. 1826, very solid exit in Wooded Kingdom. You know, Chaospringle, still no real visible mistakes. Probably the only one being that Sand Kingdom kind of debauchery where he's messing up the bird movement just a little bit, but honestly, only a couple of seconds. To be fair, everything else silky smooth. He's still on 100 pace for sure, but it is still too early to call anything quite like that. We still have at least 40 minutes to go in this run. Now, of course, Cloud Kingdom, not really scary at all. Just about getting these minor optimizations, getting the hat as soon as it's available. Also, you see Chaospringle very purposefully going around the back of Bowser. That is to punch him to a platform where he doesn't have to jump quite as far. Saves about 0.5 seconds each time you engage in that manipulation. And again, Chaos playing extremely tight so far in this first 20 minutes. Sub 20 Cloud, very respectable. Actually might be getting 20 on the dot. Very good pace from Chaospringle so far. And as Chaospringle leaves, Orolme enters. It's amazing that just in these first kingdoms, which, you know, are potentially not the hardest, with the exception of Wooded, that Chaospringle, playing as optimally as he is able to get a lead of 1.5 minutes just in that first section. And we're going to see him make quick work of Lost Kingdom as well, I imagine. This kingdom, of course, can be very punishing for any mistakes. If he takes a fall anywhere, it will be into this instant death poison, which can send him back to the Odyssey and lose a lot of time. There's also a impending zone where Klepto is secretly waiting. If, for any reason, you engage in that zone and then land on the ground, you will activate Klepto. That's why we run up that staircase that you saw Chaos just run up, to deactivate Klepto and eliminate the worry that he might come and steal Cappy from you. Of course, a time loss of about 45 seconds if that is ever to happen. We have seen that happen with top-level runners. All right, Chaos engaging in that very scary cage triple jump. Nails it just fine. Underneath the bridge, diving under the bridge, grabbing this one power moon, and going to be doing a series of cap jumps to get back up on top. Textbook stuff from Chaospringle so far. Making quick work of this video game. Orolme, meanwhile, keeping pace as best as he can. Certainly cannot be understated that he is playing well. And now onto Metro Kingdom. Metro is a place where chaos thrives. You know, this is, I feel like every runner in the top has their one kind of kingdom where they shine. and it's their kind of specialty. Chaospringle's kingdom is definitely Metro. So we're going to see some magic happen here. Doing a series of triple jumps across the girders to get to this pylon. It was originally theorized that the quote-unquote impossible jump was the fastest way across here, but with that roll boost into those triple jumps actually does make that way a little bit faster. Now executing a couple of very precise jumps to get up on top of the building and then down this girder sandwich, collecting that moon. And a couple of roll boosts across the way to set up for a Goomba jump, nailing it just fine. Had to do an extra cap throw just to be safe. Probably not going to be disappointed with the result of that, though. And on his way into City Hall. And again, another very scary place to be. Taking a fall anywhere in this area either results in a death or falling all the way down back to the beginning. So we would hate to see that here. Most top runners nowadays don't really have problems with this, but there is this scary long jump across the way. If you miss the cat bounce there, then you will fall all the way down. Chaos making it look easy, of course, on his way through. He's at the top of City Hall now. Just a quick roll boost around the corner and up to the Mecha Wiggler fight. Now, the one substantial moment of RNG in this run coming up. The first phase, very easy to take care of. The location of the Wiggler's orbs is always going to be the same, but the second phase is very unpredictable. If he gets a good pattern, he can finish the Wiggler fight before he even stops moving. Sometimes you do have to kind of settle with a worse pattern, though. Alright, shooting some of these orbs out of the way. And a very slick pattern from Chaos. Did miss the last hit, though. Going to have to kind of back that up. Wasting just a couple of seconds, but also didn't take any damage. With a pattern like that, you can kind of move towards the Wiggler as the fight is going on. So, able to very solidly nail down that fight. Only losing a couple of seconds to the very, very last hit, but still looking very solid for Chaos. As we approach the day metro portion. And this is particularly where Chaos shines. Orolme facing off against the Mecha Wiggler himself now, just taking one extra shot to finish the first phase. We're going to see if he's able to round out the second phase in a cleaner method here. Meanwhile, Chaos setting himself up for day metro here. Going to be grabbing Secret Girder Tunnel, setting up a capture warp strategy to zip right out of there, and then onto the scooter clip. Getting the drive-by. Oh, gonna take a bonk on the cage just to set himself up a little bit. Don't think he intentionally meant to do that, but sometimes you just kind of clip the edge of the cage and there's nothing you can really do. Not a big deal, though. Maybe only about a second lost there. Orolme, meanwhile, getting bullied by this Wiggler a little bit, having the patterns cross over each other quite a little, so taking a couple extra shots to make the Wiggler fight finish up here. No 3 cycles, though. Gotta be happy with that result. And now Chaos flying through Luncheon Kingdom here, setting himself up. Now, those those pylons that flick you, they do have a tendency to be a little bit erratic, but if you do a shake command, it'll actually fling you in the opposite direction of where Mario was standing when you captured. So by standing in a particular spot, you can kind of line yourself up to shoot directly down the street with the shake command. That's what Chaospringle is doing there. He's setting himself up in a way that he can do that without having to kind of use the slingshot method, which is a little bit slower. Orolme setting up for the capture warp, gets the capture warp, setting up for a scooter clip here, getting on the scooter, see if he can nail the drive-by. Did look like he took a little bit of a setup on the fences beforehand, but does get the trick just fine. And now Chaospringle does have all the musicians he requires for this route. Going to be making his way onwards now to grab a couple of quick moons along the way. Not being able to initiate the triple jump, but that's okay. Was able to maintain his speed. A single jump is all you need to get across the gap there. Couple quick moons, climbing up City Hall and then back down the other side, and then into the People's Room. You're going to see him set up for a spin pound off the top of City Hall here. Very flawless execution. Usually the kind of safer strat here is to dive off, but with a well-timed spin buffer into a spin pound, you can save yourself a couple of seconds, in fact, by doing it that way. A very hard strat to do. And into the People's Room. A couple of quick moons in this sub area, including this one timer challenge that, of course, is of no issue to Chaospringle. And then up on top of the rafters. And with that, he'll warp back to the Odyssey. We are 30 minutes into this run, approximately halfway. And already Chaos flying through the stage. He's got to be happy with this exit. A sub-30 Metro Kingdom for Chaospringle. He is making very good work of this game so far. Orolme trailing behind. Does have the musicians he requires. He's up on the City Hall roof now. Got to capture a couple of moons up here before moving on to the Snow Kingdom himself. Now, Snow Kingdom is a very timid place to be. Again, not one of my favorites at all. You do see a lot of mistakes happen here, unfortunately, including the snow dram trick that is coming up. But we're going to see him roll across the Snow Kingdom here, over to Captain Toad. It does seem a little bit out of the way, especially when you look at categories like World Peace. World Peace avoids Captain Toad because he is on the other side of the stage. But in any percent, all the moons in Snow Kingdom are rather slow. We don't really have very many options. So he is going to be grabbing that before making his way into Shiveria. Not a whole lot of problems to be had in Shiveria. Some of the sub-areas can give you a little bit of troubles. There is some actual considerable RNG happening in the Snow Kingdom. The placement of Spinies and Goombas particularly can be a bit troublesome. But just like the Wiggler, there are ways of getting around that. So Chaospringle making his way up into the rafters of Shiveria, grabbing a couple quick power moons here. Not opting for any out-of-bounds movement tricks with a moon clip here. Probably the safer way to go about this. Going to be diving down the hallway and into his first sub-area, the Taifu room with the instant death poison. Did look like he took a little bit of a tumble with his movement there, but maybe that was intended. Did get the triple jump off just fine. Going to be making that first cycle. Optimal stuff from Chaos. And literally flying through the stage, still on pace for potentially the best any percent time we've seen in a GSA race. Really no huge mistakes to speak of on Chaospringle's part. The only thing I can think of really is just messing up the bird and sand. Everything else has been extremely clean. Now making his way into this Goomba room. Now the placement of these Goombas is rather RNG as well, but he did get extremely good RNG. Both of those Goombas running directly towards him as he activates this platform. That's exactly what you want to see. Usually you have to kind of chase that first Goomba down a little bit. But the SMO gods are smiling on Chaos this day. Orolme trailing behind in the Snow Kingdom, grabbing this treasure chest onwards to this shining on high. Did look like he's going to be trying to set himself up for some out-of-bounds movement. Doesn't look like he got the clip there, unfortunately. Going to be having to go about this room the regular way. But both of these runners skipping the shop, which does signal to me that Snowdram is on the table for both of them. After purchasing this moon, you warp back to the Odyssey and immediately perform the Snowdram trick. So Chaos setting himself up here now. If Orolme is going to make up some time in Snow Kingdom, it's got to be here. Chaospringle would have to miss Snowdram a couple of times for Orolme to close the gap. And we'll see what happens here. Taking the spin pound on top of the Odyssey, lining himself up in a way that allows him to throw his cap optimally here. Setting himself up and nailing Snowdram. Cleared it by a mile. Chaos is literally flying through every stage, showing no mercy in this race. Globing in Snow Kingdom and on his way to Seaside now. And now Orolme approaching this Goomba room. Did get himself some pretty decent RNG as well. But setting up for the triple jump and accidentally falling, was able to very clutch save that. But obviously not what you kind of want to see. Usually a tumble like that does spell doom. You do fall to your death and have to kind of back it up a slower way. But Orolme making do with what he has, saving some time there. And now he's on his way to the shop to set up for a Snowdram attempt of his own. And if he wants to keep pace with Chaos, he is going to have to nail this trick as well. Now, as this tournament comes tighter and tighter towards the end, we do have some very intense matchups coming your way, including this one, but many others to come. And if you would like to place bets on your favorite runners as this tournament progresses, vi.gg is your answer. Place bets on your favorite runners by going to their website, click the banner underneath the stream, or type !bet. Of course, you must be of legal gambling age in your country to participate. Orolme, as I hype up some vi.gg, did in fact nail Snowdram on the first try. Going to be making it through the Snow Kingdom smoothly here. Keeping base as best as he can. Honestly, this is a really, really good race performance from both of these guys. Chaos just kind of flexing his superiority here a little bit, being able to just pull out all of these tricks in such a consistent manner with absolutely no faults, no input drops. He's just making it look incredibly. It's the Flower Rocket refresh, no problem. Now just a couple of quick moons in Seaside Kingdom here. Swimming through, passing by Dory, giving her a nice little visit, and then activating a couple of ground pound moons along the way as well. and then on his way to Luncheon Kingdom. Now, again, Luncheon Kingdom is one of the trickier ones. There are a couple of hang-up spots, but mostly it's a place where time just ticks away. The tricks themselves are not necessarily incredibly difficult, but doing it optimally is a very hard thing to do, and that's where time can easily be lost. All right, Orolme setting up for the Rocket Flower refresh potentially. No, not going to be doing any sort of setups here. Looking to just go through with the regular strategy. Going to be taking the Gushin. Probably the safe choice. If you're not familiar with Rocket Flower refresh, this is the safe thing to do. Don't blame him for a choice like this. Chaos flying through here, making quick work of the game. Like I said, really not showing any huge mistakes. Setting himself up for this salt pile triple. Getting it handily. Hopping up above the salt pile here. Then making his way across the kingdom. Doing a long jump for safety. You can indeed roll across that salt pile, but getting the line after that first moon is rather difficult indeed. So don't blame him for taking the safety long jump there. Not going to lose him too much time. Somewhere in the realm of like 0.3 seconds. And then fighting Spewart. This is, of course, being their first appearance with Spewart, not opting to do any wooded Spewart routes here. But the fight is not any harder. Mechanics are the same, only the arena changes. Nothing really to say about that. We don't let the boss move around, so it doesn't affect our speedrunning any. And now just gonna be flying through here, grabbing this one quick moon inside of this sub area. And then into a dive, a spin pound, and a roll cancel around the corner. Very slick movement there by Chaos. Making all of this look incredibly easy, of course. We would expect nothing less from former world record holder, second on the Mario list currently. Meanwhile, Orolme finally approaching Luncheon Kingdom for himself. Going for the salt pile triple. Does look like a good setup. Does look a little bit low and is going to take a bonk there. Falling into the lava. Going to have to back this up with a setup. We might see him attempt another triple jump. But unfortunately, clinging onto the wall a little bit there. But does get it on the second try. Chaos now, grabbing the moon from the turnip in the soup, up on top of a pillar, getting the spin pound, and now notably looking directly forward instead of down, which proves to me that he's going for the camera manipulus variation here. Very tight trick, requires you to essentially pull that off without any mistakes, but makes it look easy as well, getting the capture warp on the Podoboo there to make it up into the Forks room. Now, we have seen some world record pace runs die in this room in particular. Lots of motion controls. Things can get a little bit dicey with your timing if you do not get it perfectly right. He is at the top of the stage, though. Going to be making his way across. Getting the optimal dive onto the fence as well. The roll boost off, very slick. And getting the optimal Podoboo jump here now. Approaching a 1.0 exclusive trick, the turnip clip. We're going to see Chaos grab this turnip immediately, grab this moon, and then set himself up. probably going to roll boost into grabbing the turnip. Notably looking down with the camera, that is to set up a camera manipulation where the Hammer Brother is standing close beside. And that clip setup was a little bit risky, in my opinion, but did make it through the cage immediately. No problems for Chaos at all. Orolme doing his best here in the Luncheon. Making pretty quick work. Just a couple of unoptimal movements, and like I said, that's kind of the story of Luncheon Kingdom. A lot of the time that gets lost in Luncheon is just from doing things slightly suboptimal. You can see here having a little bit of trouble with getting that box open. By many people's standards, that would be extremely good, but when you face off against Chaos and he is doing everything to the most optimal level, it can be hard to compare. Now getting that jump behind the mountains just fine for Chaos, capturing the meat, and is on his way out of Luncheon. Very clean movement from Chaos. No real mistakes to report here at all. Making this entire game look like child's play. Orolme here, you could see him visibly go for the camera manip setup here. Makes it a little bit easier to get this photo booth. The cycle's a little less tight. Does lose just under a second, though. Not a big deal, unless you're at the absolute top level of this game. And now, just like that, Chaos on his way to Ruin Kingdom. This kingdom, of course, not a place where you see a lot of mistakes. We have seen world record holders, however, die several times in this kingdom. So anything is possible. It was against Orolme where this particular thing did happen, and Orolme was able to pull out the victory as a result. Hopefully we don't see anything like that this time, though. That would be embarrassing. Chaos making his way up to the boss fight now. And nothing to really say here. The phases are all the same. He's going to be shooting his lightning at you in more or less the same location every time. You know, an auto-scroller portion to be sure. In 1.2, there is a hidden Captain Toad hint art that you can kind of mess around with while you're waiting. 1.0 does not have that luxury, so you might do some crazy things like jump out of the arena and do some wall jumps or something. I don't know. Keep yourself busy, essentially. Chaos, probably not going to be going for that. It is a little bit of a risky thing to show off. Don't blame him at all. Meanwhile, Orolme taking a little bit of damage there. It may have missed the movement after that moon, but did get the backup quite handily there, it looks like. Making his way through the stage. And again, he's on really solid. I believe his PB is somewhere in the realm of a high 103. So this pace looking extremely solid from Orolme still. Considering Chaos is still on 100 pace with this run, Orolme being about 2 minutes behind is really not a big deal at all. Very solid pace from Orolme still. And with that, Chaos has collected the Power Moon in Ruin Kingdom, on his way to Bowser's now. Now, Chaos very notably goes for some very difficult strats in Bowser's Kingdom, looking to play as optimally as possible, but also as risky as possible. Probably see some triple jump dive back strategies, probably see some capture warp strategies from Chaos here. Probably going to see some Harriet third and target acquired strategies here. But just about anything can happen in Bowser. If you take a bonk in a place you don't want to, that could potentially put you back, could put you in the pits. Orolme maybe flashing off a little bit here, showing off to Ekwon that it is indeed possible to do that out-of-bounds movement without dying. Now Chaospringle flying through the stage, getting that wall jump at the beginning very handily. Into the spin pound on top of the ogre there, making very quick work of this initial portion of the game, of Bowser's Kingdom rather. And on his way to the next chunk. I do like Bowser's Kingdom because it does give you a little bit of a break in between the portions of this kingdom. So gives you a little bit of a breather before you approach the next section. Setting up for the triple. Getting the dive back just fine. Going to be turning his camera around a little bit later than I would have liked. Fine, he's probably used to that. Flying through the stage, keeping his speed and his momentum all the way through this fourth shard, capturing the Pokio, and going to be capturing this last shard. Again, making all of this look extremely easy, getting the dive back right away. Into the roll cancel jump and collecting the moon. Textbook stuff from Chaospringle so far. Setting up for the Bowser Dram, as we like to call it. And getting that optimal dive out of the pylon. Still can't figure that one out for myself. Does require a precise angle on your control stick to make happen. Now, of course, Chaospringle representing Topper first here. Honestly, I think choosing Topper first is an option if you're scared of taking damage. So Chaospringle potentially looking to play the safe route here. Getting the final hit on Topper without any damage, thankfully for him. Choosing one over the other is not necessarily more optimal. It is a personal choice. In my opinion, reading left to right does make sense, but you know, Topper first gang, hashtag. And we see Chaos actually going for the Furriot strats here, which does require you to set up a first-person angle to knock back Harriet's bombs a little bit faster. Tiny optimization, but worth it at the top level, of course. Very solid setups by Chaos. Still flexing his abilities in this game. Incredibly consistent runner. Making it look extremely easy, too. Orolme, a couple of story moons behind, did get the ogre kill on his way now to the shards section. Also setting up for the triple jump. Didn't get the dive back quite there. Didn't look like he was really setting up for it either. Gonna be taking a little bit, but probably a safer one as well. Very risky dive onto the roof there as he collects the third shard. And as the Pokio and into the Robo Brutal fight. Probably will be seeing some Harriet third options here. Yeah, getting the backflip strategies to do the climb very handily there. Nothing to really complain about. Very fast. Getting the second hit also very clean. And now a little bit of a break in between the phases. Nothing you can really do during this part of the fight. The bubbles are invulnerable. Setting up for Harriet third, getting the hit, nicely timed. Now just has to do a couple of quick dives back onto the fourth bubble, getting that final hit, and on his way to Moon Kingdom already. You know, the only notable mistake here being that triple jump into the Kratos Moon at the end of Bowser's Kingdom, but still on very solid pace, looking like he could be getting a low 101 still potentially on pace for a race world record. It's hard to top this. There really, like, nothing that you can really say about Chaos's game so far has gone wrong except for that one trick. Orolme, meanwhile, did choose Harriet first. Smart man. Smart man. Finishing off Topper here, spawning the moon, and he is on his way to the final portion of Bowser's Kingdom. Of course, he can make up a little bit of time on Chaos if he's able to get the jump around the crates. That being said, it might be too little too late. Chaos globing at just over 55 minutes. Moon Kingdom taking around 5.5 minutes to complete, meaning that he is still on pace for a 101. Very solid effort by Chaos in this race. Orolme not having trouble with the boxes there, getting through very swiftly. Now has to fight the camera for this jump here, but gonna be across just fine, capturing the Pokio and up the wall. Meanwhile, Moon Kingdom approaching for Chaos. So he's going to be starting this kingdom by doing a couple of roll boosts towards the dunes, setting himself up for a triple jump with vectors. Vectors, of course, being used to not only pick up speed, but also distance. Making the third jump all the way across, not having to do a dive that is incredibly optimal. Rolling across the moon dunes here, being careful not to take any bonks or falls off the side. Grabbing both of these rocket flowers here and jumping across the gorge. And towards the Moon Cave skip. Of course, this trick saving about 5 minutes over the intended route of going through the Moon Cave. Something that was discovered very early on in Super Mario Odyssey's lifespan. Getting the quick turnaround there, jump up onto the bridge. Again, making very quick work of the Moon Kingdom. Orolme can't be understated. His Robo Brute fight did go very well there. No mistakes to be heard of as well. Keeping pace with Chaos as best as he can. The race might not be one for him unless Chaos makes some huge mistakes. But that being said, he could still potentially be on PB pace. Does look like OBS crash. Oh, we're back. Okay. Does look like Chaos is progressing through with the Bowser fight here on the second phase. Getting the hits down just fine. Waiting for Bowser to throw his final flamethrower at him before finishing off the third face. And with that, no problems at all for Chaos to finish off this fight. Just has the escape sequence remaining. Going to be rolling down to Bowser, capturing him quickly here. And now for Orolme to catch up, it really is going to come down to a couple of mistakes on Chaos's part. There's nothing that Orolme can really do to optimize his run in a way that will pull him ahead, unfortunately. It is Chaos's race to lose as we approach the escape sequence. Going into the 2D section here really quickly, getting the triple jump up over to this bridge, going to knock down the bridge. And make his way across into the 2D section. Busting open these rocks, 2D skip. Taking one bonk on the head there, but backing it up just fine. Going to be making it through the 2D section, just a minor time loss for the bonk. Not taking a death, thankfully. Meanwhile, Orolme doing his Moon Cave skip. Setup looks good. Going to be getting on top of the bridge. And diving up on top of the bridge is perfect setup. Now, Chaos breaking open the wall here. He is on 1 pace, you guys. We are within a minute of seeing a GSA world record pace happen here. All it takes is a good pillar. It does look like all the fireballs are going to hit there. He does get the fast pillar on his way to the second one now, busting it open. Did get jebaited a little bit by that rock falling, but that being said, going to be making his way through the pillar room swiftly. Did get the first pillar down in, which of course is optimal. And just like that, breaking open the rock, he is done. This is it. He has achieved the Global Speedrun Association world record, coming in at a solid 1:00:47 here, 48 just tick, but still incredible performance, landing him a top 5 spot on the regular leaderboards, not to mention the best time we've ever seen in a GSA race. Incredible. Perhaps world record pace up until that mistake in Bowser. Honestly, very little went wrong there, and it really showed off in Chaos's performance here. It's hard to top something like that, you know? 1:00. Now, Orolme finishing off the Bowser fight. With that, the final hit landing. He is on pace for a high 103 by the looks of it. So, still potential for Orolme to pull out a PB of his own here. Now, joining me in the call victor and current GSA world record holder, Chaospringle. How's it going?
I'm going pretty good.
I mean, it's hard to ask for a performance any better than that. I think, as in my own kind of experience and observation, the only thing that really went wrong was that triple jump in Bowser's around to the Crates Moon. So tell me, how do you feel about this race?
I had fun. I don't know.
You had fun?
Yeah. It was world record pace that I was like Metro like barely. I had to play really. I think I played pretty well. I've been having trouble with triple jump boxes lately, so not really surprised I missed it.
But you were able to keep yourself alive, and I think that was the key to pulling out a race world record here.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't die.
Yeah, that would have been tragic, I suppose. Still would have earned you the win, to be sure. It would have taken a lot to kind of lose your momentum versus Orolme here, who is just approaching the Pillars room for himself, potentially getting a high 103 time.
Yeah.
But yeah, for your victory here, you stay within the winner's bracket. And I do believe your next matchup is still yet to be determined.
Wait, I thought it was Sui.
Oh, it is. It is Suisaga. I lied. So, any apprehensions about that? Do you think that Suisaga is going to give you a run for your money?
I mean, he is a good racer, and I'm pretty like inconsistent at races, to be honest. Like, some days I like destroy like today, and then other days it's not so good. So we'll see. I don't know. Should be interesting.
I think it'll be a fun race to watch indeed. And of course, being in the winner's bracket does come with a little bit of security. Even if you do lose the next one, you are still within the tournament and can kind of claw your way through the loser's bracket as well. So no matter how it goes, everybody will still remain in the tournament. And yeah, Suisaga, of course, a very formidable opponent, does have some race experience under his belt, including a tournament win of his own. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. Orolme coming in at a 104 flat, very solid time. I think that's only within 10 seconds of your PB, if I'm not mistaken. We do have Orolme in the call now. Orolme, how do you feel about
that? It's 1 minute 10 seconds of my PB.
Yes, you do have a 102. That's right.
Yeah. Pretty bad race for me, but congrats, Chaos. And, I just wanted to watch Chaos play when I was playing. To be honest. So, yeah, congrats, dude. I didn't play one player since the last race, so yep. I feel like my PB sucks so much, so I'm gonna improve it soon.
Let's go.
But yeah, congrats.
Thanks, dude.
Still not at bad pace at all for Orolme here. Cannot be understated that a 104 is still a very good time, especially in a race setting. So GG's to both of you guys. Now, you were in the winner's bracket, so you are losing this race, but not going to be knocked out of the tournament entirely. You will be moving down into the loser's bracket, where you will face off. I don't think you have an opponent quite yet, but you will be in losers round 4. So you are still in the tournament, still can kind of claw your way through and maybe achieve victory on the loser's side of things.
Yep. See you on finals, Chaos.
Chaos literally sweating as we speak. Now, coming your way is some more Super Mario Odyssey action. We have Sombro versus All New Luke coming next after a short intermission. Stay tuned. GG's to both of these runners, and we will see you soon.
GG's.